So if you reduce the fees that are collected you can just imagine what will happen to the employees who are already enjoying these allowances. Now, you were also talking about flip-flopping decisions. What do you understand by flip-flopping decisions?
Well, my understanding, Your Honor, is cases that are already final in nature, where judgment has become final and executory.
But when a decision is rendered, and it is reversed by virtue of a motion for reconsideration, that is not flip-flopping.
Hindi pa po, dahil the judgment is not yet final.
And if that case, again, is the subject matter of a motion for reconsideration, because the winning party will now become the losing party in a motion for reconsideration, and the court will reconsider its decision, that is not also flip-flopping.
No, Your Honor, that's not.
Yeah, so that so that the public may know what is actually flip-flopping. Your definition of a flip-flopping is that if a judgment has already become final executory, then the court should no longer entertain any motion to revive that decision. That's what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
But are you aware that even judgment of the lower courts may be the subject matter of a petition for relief from judgment, although the judgment have already become final executory? Or are you aware of a petition in the rules of court, a petition to annul a judgment due to fraud, extrinsic
yes,
fraud?
Your Honor. Yes, that is
so why do you,
recognized.
Why do you prevent then the Supreme Court from re-examining a decision that they have already rendered, which has already become final executory, when the Court of Appeals and when the Court of Appeals can entertain a petition to annul a judgment?
Two reasons, Your Honor. First, because the Supreme Court is the highest court of the land, and the buck should stop with the Supreme Court. Second, Your Honor, I see the practice as very pernicious as far as the court is concerned, because it leaves a bad taste in the eyes of the public. It does not add to the credibility of the court. I would rather have a system where, right or wrong, a decision is final, judgment has already become final, the parties have exhausted all remedies to question that ruling, then let's leave it and move on.
Anyway, probably you can only cite few cases, no, where the Supreme Court entertained a motion to revive, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I think it's only 2 or 3. How many?
Several. I'm not sure of the number, Your Honor.
Only 2 or 3. There was a wrong notion that in that case of FASAP, the Supreme Court flip-flopped. That's not true. We have not yet decided the case actually. Probably you're referring to a case. So anyway, we agreed that when a motion for reconciliation is granted, then that's not flip-flopping, you know. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you were also talking about the process of appointment of judges. Is it really a problem in the appointment of judges? Are you not satisfied with the process being conducted by the Judicial Bar Council? Then later on, nominations are nominees. The names of nominees are forwarded to the office of the President for appointment?
I'm not referring to the present Judicial and Bar Council, Your Honor, but I have heard, although I have no personal knowledge myself, of a lot of horror stories perhaps that came out from the previous administrations. And I think that perhaps that is what should be stopped.
So it is your contention that the JBC should be retained?
I think we should be looking towards the future and looking beyond the JBC. I think there are ways that of choosing judges that are much less political in nature and more democratic. I think we should allow other sectors of our society, not only members of the bar, to select the members of the judiciary.
So your suggestion that non-lawyers should be included in the choice of judges?
Palagi ko po dapat din.
Dapat, ano?
Opo.
Dapat. Pati farmer, pwede na maril mag-join, ano?
Well, everyone has a stake in the justice system, Your Honor, the poor as well as the rich.
Okay. Sige, that's all? Yeah, you have other questions?
May
go ahead, Justice
you're talking, Dean, you were talking of the great vacancies in the judiciary, in the lower courts, for example. The reason for this is in places like Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Samar, and other places that are plagued by recalcitrant elements, there are no applicants. And then there is another thing. There are courts that are created by Congress in remote areas. And so these courts, in these courts, we do not nominate because there are no cases. So that's the problem. That's the reason for the great number of vacant courts. You see, when a congressman creates a court in his district, but it's in a remote place. That's an achievement on his part. But then he does not think that there are no cases in these remote areas. So think of the vacancies. As a matter of fact, we are recommending that these courts that are in remote places be brought to Manila and other urban cities like Cebu and these places.
Yes.
Because here in Metro Manila, for example, we need a lot of courts, more judges. But in these remote areas, that should be removed and placed here. When I was appointed to the Judicial and Bar Council, the vacancy was 19%. Now it's 27%. But those are the reasons for the great number of vacant courts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are through. Dean Diokno, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.